Today we're looking at my entire Steam library. Looking at some 400 titles is no mean feat though. So obviously this is gonna be a multi-parter. And how the parts are split up and how many parts there are really depends on how many games start with different letters. And I might have seriously underestimated the number of games I own that start with the letter A. So the rules are pretty simple. Firstly, if a game has multiple entries, for example, it has the game itself, and then a testing version, and then server utilities and whatnot, we're not going to count any of those except for the base game itself. Secondly, we are going to test out delisted games on Steam. If we own the game, we're going to test them out. Thirdly, we're not going to test out any games that'll get us banned for running it on the Steam Deck, like Destiny 2. Fourthly, we're going to skip every VR title. If a game has a non-VR mode, we'll try it out. Fifthly, we're going to go by how Steam arranges games by alphabetical order. So games that start with the, such as The Elder Scrolls, they get organized in the letter E for Elder. Finally, this is only a brief look at the games in our library. Truth is, I'm not going to play through all of these games all the way through. So if you've played one of these games and we missed an issue that you might have experienced while playing the full game, then yeah, we're gonna miss it probably. I don't know. And yes, you're gonna hear this at the beginning of every video in this new series. So without further ado, let's get started. The first game on our list is in fact
100% オレンジジュース
Orange Juice is fun and it's perfectly playable on the Steam Deck. In fact, it's verified for Steam Deck usage. It's also an incredibly fun multiplayer game if you've got 3 other friends to play this with. I actually made an episode of IndieWatch about 100% Orange Juice. If you want to check it out, links in the description below. If you want me to make more IndieWatch episodes, you should let me know. So yes, Orange Juice works fine. The next game on our list is a game called 150,000 BC. And I mean, it works just fine, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think I want to play this game for another second. Back into the hidden list you go. The next game on our list is 20 Minutes Till Dawn. It's kind of similar to Vampire Survivors, except you manually aim your weapons instead of like having a bunch of weapons that auto fire for you. And you know what? They had a pretty recent update. So yeah, the game's fine, it works, and it's pretty fun. Though analog aiming feels kind of weird with this one because it still feels like it's moving a cursor around instead of, you know, being instantaneous. But to answer your question, yes, this game works right here. The next game on our list is 200% Mixed Juice, made by the same people that made 100% Orange Juice. I'm not really sure how to describe this. The game is kind of like Pokemon, but not Pokemon? I don't know. So here's the thing with this game. The game seems like it works just fine. And heck, it's even given a playable rating. So the problem arises when you have to go to the school store. And the game tells you to go to the school store. Like you click on move and you go to school store and then the game just crashes. So here's the first game in my library with this issue right here. The next game on our list is 20XX. It's a Mega Man X styled roguelike. And for someone like me that prefers Mega Man X over classic Mega Man, and also Mega Man Zero over classic Mega Man, this is a pretty good game. And you can play as either the Mega Man X styled character or the Zero character. I forget their names honestly. And given that it's a roguelike, there's plenty of upgrades to find throughout the stages, though ultimately, once you die, you have to start from the very beginning. You know, typical roguelike fashion. I've encountered 0 issues with this on the Steam Deck, so this works just fine. The next game on our list is 7 Days to Die. I'm gonna be honest with you, I haven't played a whole ton of 7 Days to Die, at least not on my Steam Deck. So here's my thing with 7 Days to Die. Yes, it works just fine, but if you generate a brand new world, it's gonna take like 30 minutes to generate on your Steam Deck. If you want my personal opinion, you should either just generate this world on your desktop, or, you know, maybe you should just play on one of the preset worlds that they've created for you. As for the game itself, once you turn the game's graphics down to low, it'll run at a solid 60 FPS. You should also turn on dynamic resolution as well. Of course, on default settings, the game runs at like low to mid 40s, so you could feasibly cap the FPS to 40 and play that way, with higher graphical fidelity. That would work just fine, honestly. And yes, the game does support EAC, but that's only if you join servers with EAC enabled. So yes, portable 7 Days to Die is a success. The next game on this list is delisted. In fact, I don't even think you can get it anymore, and that's 8-Bit Bayonetta. It's a promotional game that Sega gave away for free, among other games as well, to celebrate Bayonetta coming to PC. And let's just say this game... I think I'll play it a bit to get the achievements, but honestly, after I get all of the achievements, I'm not gonna play this game anymore, to be honest. That said, you should play the actual Bayonetta, like the real one. I played on Xbox 360, and it is a masterpiece. The next game on our list is the Acceleration of Suguri 2. I don't have the original Acceleration of Suguri, but I got this one for free when Fruitback Factory gave away a bunch of games for free at the start of COVID. The Acceleration of Suguri 2 is a fighting game unlike any other. Well, at least until a bunch of developers started making their own versions of this. If you want to play this game, you should definitely read up the how to play section, as well as hit up training mode so you can learn your buttons. Otherwise, you're not going to make it very far in this game. But how does it play though on the Steam Deck? Well, it plays really well. By default, the resolution is much lower than what the Steam Deck can handle, so you should definitely raise the resolution up to maximum. The controls aren't really well explained either outside of the how to play section, so be sure to give that a visit before you, well, you know, play the game. Okay, so the next game on our list isn't really a game per se. It's more of an aim trainer designed to help you aim, and it's got multiple custom configurations and custom trainings modeled after popular games like Apex Legends or Valorant. From basic exercises like flick shooting and whatnot to specific situations like fighting on stairs and stuff. If you want to be an FPS god, I would suggest spending some time in Aimlab. And yes, you can also use gyro as well. Here's the crazy part though, the default sensitivities for controllers in Aimlab is extremely low. Like it takes a decade to turn around 180 degrees with the default settings, so you should go into settings mode and change the sensitivity first. Or maybe that was just me, I actually don't know. And this is American Truck Simulator. I was actually gifted this game by a viewer who wanted me to showcase Steam input, and so I did that for a prior video. But I guess I'm gonna have to make a new Steam input video at some point. There really isn't a whole lot to complain about. I mean, it works great. And as you can see here, I would make for a pretty lousy truck driver. The next game is Amnesia Dark Descent. I've had this game for a couple of years now, thanks to a Humble Bundle from years ago, but I've never actually played it before. I will have to give it a shot at some point. This game is marked as Steam Deck playable, and for the most part I agree. I didn't really get past the first part of this, but I noticed there's quite a bit of... is that motion blur? Is that something that persists in the entire game? Can someone tell me? I will have to play this on my own time. And this is Among Us. As you know, this is a game that you can actually play on your phone. And yes, you can play Among Us on your Steam Deck. I mean, what is there to say really? I would have been more shocked if Among Us didn't work on the Steam Deck. And this is ANNO Mutationem. I've said quite a bit about this game in a different YouTube video as well, though there have been a couple of changes since then, one of which is a more satisfying conclusion to the game. Multiple new endings, rebalanced combat, adjusted difficulty, adjusted enemy AI, and most importantly, New Game Plus. I do kind of wish they included this new ending in the 1.0 release, but I guess it's whatever. If you already own this game, it might be time to pick it back up. I've already beaten the game, but I haven't gotten the new endings yet, and I also haven't finished all the side quests and whatnot, so I'll be diving back into this game at some point. The next game on our list is Aperture Desk Job, the only game on this list that was made specifically for the Steam Deck, but it works on a regular PC too. Does it work? Of course it works. It was made for the Steam Deck. I'm not going to talk anymore about this, just go play the game yourself if you own a Steam Deck. The next game on this list is Apex Legends. This game is a whopping 60 gigs on Steam, so you need to make some room for it. I'm not the best at Apex Legends, but I think I'm pretty decent at it. I've gotten my winner chicken dinners a few times. Heck, I've even gotten my #1 victory royale a few times as well. The real question is, could you play Apex on this? Well, people play Apex on the Nintendo Switch, so I don't see why you wouldn't be able to play it on the Steam Deck. It's fully verified too. What a shame though, I have to go through this heartbreaking defeat, especially on camera as well. The next game on our list is Arcade Moonlander. It's a deceptively simple yet somewhat vicious game in its own right. And yeah, at the beginning the game tells you how to play using a keyboard, but it has controller support. I wish the game didn't have the stupid Unity launcher at the beginning, because otherwise you wouldn't need to use the touchscreen or, you know, use the deck's trackpads as a mouse. And you know what? This game's actually pretty fun. It's literally less than $1. Of course, the game has quite a steep learning curve. This is just level 3. It took me several tries just to accomplish this. But now I'm more acquainted with the game. Oh no. Is that a tunnel? That's a really small tunnel. So the next game on this list is ARK Survival Evolved. So they actually gave ARK Survival Evolved away for free alongside its various DLCs for a time. I think that was when they announced ARK 2. Anyways, this game is a solid 300 plus gigabytes. I am not going to clean out over half of my SD card just for this game that I'll probably only play once, to be honest. Maybe I'll do it for a future video. The next game on our list is Archery Blast. It might legitimately be the worst game on this list. This game is also 99 cents, like Arcade Moonlander, but this game is definitely not worth your time or your money. I don't even remember where I got this game from. I definitely didn't purchase this myself. And worst of all, nothing seems to work. No controls work whatsoever. Mouse controls don't do anything, touchscreen doesn't do anything, trackpads, thumbsticks, nothing does anything except for just clicking to shoot. You can't even aim. What kind of a game is this? I'm done with this game. Goodbye. The next game on my list is ARMA Cold War Assault. They gave away this game for free on GOG and Steam, I believe around sometime in June last year. Anyways, this game is an old PC game, and you can tell by the fact that there's no controller support. At least not by default. You'll want to set up your own controls, especially for a game like ARMA, which is supposed to be a military simulator rather than a game per se. Of course, we're not here to answer whether or not this game is good or not, because it's aged significantly. We're here to ask the question of whether or not it runs on the Steam Deck, and the answer is yes. Yes, it does. Never reload out in the open, you'll die. The next game on our list is Armored Hunter Gunhound EX. And there are more than a few quirks to this game if you want to play with controller support. The first of which is you'll need to go into options and manually set up your controller config, and you can't actually navigate the menu without setting these controls up first. But you can't set these controls up without navigating to the options screen, and you can't navigate to the options screen without a keyboard first. So you either need a keyboard or you need to use Steam input. After that little issue though, everything seems to work just fine. The game itself is a pretty fun mecha shooter, a run and gun game where you play as a mecha. It was actually originally a PSP game, but ported to PC, which kind of explains the control scheme. Unfortunately, the game is no longer available on Steam as it's been delisted. Delisted due to temporary suspension of operations of Dracu Co. Limited. Unfortunately, no one really knows what caused this temporary suspension of operations. Thankfully, I still have my copy. But unfortunately, since you can't buy it from any legitimate sources anymore, your only option to play this game is either emulating the PSP version or, piracy. The next game on our list is Alliance of Valiant Arms, aka A.V.A. And as you can see here, the game doesn't even load. Honestly, I can't say I'm surprised. I mean, I don't even know if this game even works anymore. The Steam page for this particular version of A.V.A. isn't even online anymore. So yeah, this game's a bust. The next game on our list is Awesomenauts. Awesomenauts actually went free to play a while ago. The game is no longer receiving active content updates as of 2019, but you can still play the game. You may think you're looking at like Mega Man or something, but what you're actually playing instead is League of Legends in space. Yeah, that's right, this is a MOBA. I've yet to actually play any real matches of Awesomenauts, but from what I've been told, you can find matches easily as there's quite a consistent player base for this game. So yeah, this game works on deck. And finally, we have both of the Gunvolt games, Azure Striker Gunvolt 1 and 2. I haven't encountered any issues with Gunvolt 1 on the Steam Deck, though I've already played this game to death on the 3DS, so I kinda know what to expect. Gunvolt 1 is actually verified on Steam Deck. Gunvolt 2 is marked as playable, but the truth is you can't actually complete the game with the true ending on the Steam Deck. I've actually detailed this in a separate video, but basically, if you fight the final boss with Gunvolt, the game will crash as soon as she uses her special attack. And to get the true ending, you have to play as both Gunvolt and Copen and beat the game as both of them, to fight the true final boss. And also there's a couple of post-game missions that you can't access because you can't get the true ending. So ultimately, Gunvolt 2 shouldn't really count as playable. And this is the only game in the series so far on Steam that has this issue. And it kinda sucks too, because Gunvolt 2 is an amazing game. So there we have it. Every game I own from the number 1 all the way to A. I'm gonna be honest, this episode started out as an A to C episode, but I forgot that there were games that started with numbers. And then I severely underestimated how many games I owned that started with the letter A. So what did we learn today? Well, we learned that a good portion of my games from number to A worked just fine. One game crashed pretty early on, and one game straight up did not boot whatsoever. And there's one game that you can't get the true ending on. But ultimately, I think it was a pretty successful endeavor. I can say that I finally tested out every game I currently own on Steam from number to A. Were they all good games? No. 2 of them were total duds, and one straight up did not work. Looking forward to the next part. That's gonna take a bit though, given how many games I own on Steam. So if you like my content, please like, subscribe, share with your friends, join my Discord server, and also enable notifications.